In this podcast, Sally Johnston, Manager of Food and Beverage at MPI, discusses what it means to be a recognised person under the Food Act.
So now you're a verifier. What does that mean? Verifiers are people that basically check out that food businesses are meeting their obligations. Now, there are some verifiers that are not recognised. They're working with other organisations like British Retail Consortium or Global Food Standards Initiative or Global Food Safety Initiative to check out food businesses, food safety and suitability requirements, that they're meeting customer standards, that they're managing food safety, and those people aren't recognised. You know, they're not recognised by MPI at least. They've gone through a process where that agency that has that standard has said you're good enough to go and check it on my behalf. MPI recognition is kind of the same. It is MPI saying you're good enough to go and check out those food businesses on behalf of the government. So you're doing it on behalf of New Zealanders everywhere, you're doing it on behalf of governments overseas, you're doing it on behalf of MPI. So one of the things that has been a common criticism in the system is that it's a competitive environment and that verifiers can charge the businesses pretty much whatever, and that the verifiers are working for the businesses. That's something that verifiers need to be very mindful of, and also be reminding themselves every time they go in to do a verification or every time they're engaging with a food business that while it is important to add value to that business, to coach and to educate that food business in food safety and suitability, you're actually doing that on behalf of the government. That the biggest part of your job is about being able to walk away and say to the government, you can have confidence in this business because, which is why you need to report your findings through to the registration authority. It's why there are certain guidelines and rules in place, why we have requested certain mandatory topics be covered in verification. Essentially, this is the government giving you a mandate to go in and check some certain things. But it's also a mandate to say you're doing this on our behalf, so actually we're calling the shots. So if it's your preference to go in and look at everything possible and spend 3 days at the local cafe satisfying yourself that they're doing absolutely everything necessary, that's cool. Do that on your own time at your own cost. The government doesn't authorise that, and when you charge the business, they're seeing that as a government cost. So if you want to spend that kind of time, sell that as a separate service to the food business. But when you're going in to do a verification on behalf of the government, then government sets the rules about that verification and you're expected to follow them. If you don't, that's when your recognition is at risk. So what does it mean to be recognised? It means that regardless of who actually employed you to do the job, when you're out there verifying a food business against the regulatory rules, the government is your employer and we expect you to follow our rules. So as a recognised person, businesses will probably be very afraid of you. They will be nervous, they will be anxious, they will expect you to be coming in to judge them. They will be defensive of the things that you are finding. As a recognised person, it's always important to remember that yes, you are there to check them, but they are human, and put yourself in their shoes. When you were being assessed as being good enough to be a verifier, I'm sure you were nervous and anxious and expecting to be judged, and it wasn't a nice place to be. And so think about the ways that you can help that business to feel comfortable with your being there, to understand that it's not about finding things that are wrong and punishing them, that this is about everybody working together to improve food safety for their customers. That it's as much about education and coaching, and in fact it's more about education and coaching than anything else. As a recognised person, you don't really get to punish. That's the role of an officer. So you're there to help that business improve their food safety, or to know that they're doing the right thing and to keep up the good work. So those, I think, are the most important things for a recognised person. Another important thing is that you are there on behalf of the government. We have high standards. It's not a mistake that we're asking you to know a lot or understand a lot, or to maintain currency with new ways of doing things, or with risks in food safety, to keep yourself knowledgeable, to remind yourself what it's like to be in business or in industry, to be able to walk a mile in somebody else's shoes. Those things are not mistakes. We do have high standards. You're there on our behalf. Please maintain those standards. Do everything that you can to engage with your peers, to share your knowledge, to help others to understand, to work consistently with people up and down the country, and to offer a good service to food businesses, but also to be able to assure consumers of that food that those food businesses are doing the right thing.
What constraints are there around swapping organisations and still being recognised?
Oh, very few constraints. Once you have demonstrated yourself to know what it is to be a verifier and to be able to manage food safety, you can work for more than one recognised agency, or you can move jobs from one recognised agency to another recognised agency. Each recognised agency will have their own induction requirements and requirements for learning their quality management system and the procedures that they put in place for any new employee. So if you're working for more than one, then it's always important to remember who you're working for when you're doing a particular verification, because there might be some different procedures that you need to follow. But it's up to the agency to ensure that they have confidence that you know what you're doing before they send you out to verify food businesses that are their clients. So actually, once you have demonstrated competency as a recognised person, swapping agencies is pretty easy, and it will be managed by the recognised agencies in the main. Yep.